You are listening to Business Heroine Radio for the entrepreneur who says she will and does. Join the Business Heroine community today at businessheroinemagazine.com. And now, tune into the show.
Hello and welcome. I'm Ann Perry, founder of Business Heroine, and I'm so excited for you to meet beautiful Sarah Entrup today. Sarah is, she's an intuitive healer and guide. She teaches practices of ancient magic for the modern, sophisticated seeker. She's so my girl. I also happen to have the privilege of being good friends with Sarah. We live in the same town, so I love it when I meet other magical entrepreneurs who are world healers. So Sarah really works through guided meditations, workshops, and private sessions and teaches practical ways to remove blocks and overcome inhibiting internal patterns and programming. And she really specializes in helping women tap into the inherent pleasure and power of their bodies so that they can create from their light and wholeness. She has great grit, sass, she's sincere, and she's worked with hundreds of high-level executives and spiritual seekers all over the world. She has a BA in Contemplative Psychology from Naropa University, and she's an ordained minister with the Church of Inner Light. So I can't wait for you to meet Sarah. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Anne. It's such an honor to be here with all of you heroines.
Yeah, yay. You guys, it's so interesting how Sarah and I met. It was one of those totally synchronistic things. We were at I was working at the coffee shop just to kind of get a change of scenery, and she asked me if she could borrow my computer cord because she forgot her cord and didn't have time to go home. And then it was just one of those, when you meet someone and you're like, oh my gosh, let's be friends, kind of like on the playground, why don't we be friends? Okay. And you hold hands and go run to the swings or something. So it's like that.
Completely.
So I'm really excited for the heroines to get to meet you and get to know about you more, and really to learn more especially about your meditations, because Sarah has a 30 days of meditation program that completely transforms everything. So I for sure want to talk about that. But before we, jump into that, I would love to hear, Sarah, just your story. How did you find out that you were an intuitive and psychic? How did you come to be a healer and a guide? Share your path with us.
Yeah. So I was really sensitive as a child and was just really deeply felt everything. And I had a couple really key experiences in my childhood. One was when my grandfather died when I was 8 years old. After he died, he came and visited me probably about 3 or 4 times. And I remember being really scared, but also really just kind of like, whoa, this is you. Okay. I remember him holding my hand once when I was out on a dock in upstate New York, and just these very specific, powerful experiences. And I would go tell my mom and dad, I just saw Grandpa and this is what happened. And years later, my mom tells me that she was kind of freaked out by me as a child. But I didn't have a lot of context for what I was experiencing until when I was 18 years old, I traveled to Europe, and I went to art school in Northern England for a year. And while I was there, I met this spiritual teacher, and she was doing workshops and things like that. And so I spent the weekend at her home with her doing a workshop. And she at one point came up to me and she flat out just said, do you know who you are? And I was like, what do you mean? I was 18, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
No. And she said, you can see everything I'm saying, can't you? And I could. I said, yeah, I can. I can see. And she said, you're full-blown clairvoyant. And I was like, Claire who? Claire what?
Who's Claire?
Right. I didn't know what it meant. And, but over the course of that year, I started working with her more, and she started really giving me a context and a framework for what was naturally happening inside of me. And I think that's an important story, because I think so many people, I'm not quote special, but I was directed at young enough age that I could keep my clairvoyance on. And we all have a sixth chakra. We all have the ability to really tune in and see energy and experience energy in a more palpable way. But because of our upbringing and the culture and just the world that we live in today, I think that a lot of it gets buried, and it doesn't need to. And, so I was in England for a year, and then I headed back to the States and moved out to Boulder, Colorado. And as soon as I got there, I found a psychic school. I looked up a psychic school, and I found one there, and I studied at the Boulder Psychic, it's not the Boulder Psychic Institute, it's Psychic Horizons. It's part of the Berkeley Psychic Institute from California. And I studied with them for 4 years, and they gave me a framework, they gave me a language, they gave me tools in which I could really, really develop and explore and use my gifts to help other people. And that's pretty much all I've been doing my whole adult life, which is pretty cool when I think about it now, being 40. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's very cool. So your whole entire career basically has been doing your psychic work. Like, you've never had an office job, never been in the cubicle hell or any of that.
No, I had a waitressing job for a while. I grew up in restaurants, but other than that, no, I'm pretty proud, I should say, to say that I've really, been on purpose for a really long time.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I would love to talk about meditation, because, this is, I'm assuming everybody listening, because Business Heroine tends to draw a spiritual crowd, is familiar with meditation or has a meditation practice of some sort, or has at least experimented with meditation. I just would love to get your perspective about it. And like, what is meditation to you? What is the power of meditation? How do we make the most out of meditation? What's really, truly possible with it? Just would love your perspective.
So when I talk about meditation, it's also a way for me to say energy work. They're interchangeable for me. I definitely have a Buddhist training. I went to Naropa in Boulder and studied Buddhism for several years. And so I'm formally trained with Vipassana style meditations, which is more of a witnessing practice. And so that's important, just to be able to witness and calm and settle your mind and just be in stillness. That's one layer of meditation. But I also believe that that's actually a more difficult form of meditation for the average person. And then meditation to me also means energy work, where you're closing your eyes, you're going inside yourself, and you're starting to learn how to ground your body and move energy around your body, and turn on your chakras, your energy systems of the body, and really explore yourself from the inside out. And I think it's crucial to me as an energy worker. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. If you don't go, if you can't shift your own energy, clean up your own energy, move your own energy, it's kind of like not being able to brush your teeth every day. You'll just, and that's how most people walk around, like they've never brushed their teeth.
No wonder it smells, all our stinky breath. But that's really important what you're saying, because especially for, really the heart-centered, soul-fueled, purpose-driven entrepreneurs that are listening to this right now, there is a natural sensitivity, a natural intuitiveness. Like, that's just part of our makeup, and it's just been there all along. So maybe we don't know that it could be any different, but we're dimming ourselves if we're not able to clean it's extra important for people who are sensitive and intuitive and all of that.
Absolutely. And it's really interesting because if we're not meditating and running our energy and doing energy work on ourselves, we're dimming ourselves, but we're also not tapping a huge reservoir of information, power, energy, creativity within ourselves. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's, healing and cleaning ourselves up, that's one part of it. But the part that I really love and get inspired by is helping people access more of their life force, more of their own information, more of themselves on a soul level, and then being able to translate into their lives. Because when someone's really tapped in to more of their information on a soul level, more of their life force, then their lives just start to transform effortlessly. Yeah. Where, we could be putting in so much effort and just trying in an area, maybe just with our minds, and just trying to carve out a path or market ourselves in the world and, in a certain way. But if we are really connected to the depths of our soul, it's like being plugged into the battery of the universe, Yeah. It's like we just have so much more energy, so much more, our vibration is just so much higher and so much clearer. And so it's really, that's the exciting part for me. It's like, when someone really feels tapped in and tuned in, turned on by themselves, their whole lives transform.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that you're the perfect, you really model that. I've witnessed you and I've seen how you just sort of create out of thin air. It really is magical. You're like a magnet for things, and things happen with ease and grace and flow. And, you don't work your butt off, 10 hours a day and all that just, is sort of considered normal, sadly, in this day and age. And so when I met Sarah, when we met, it was like computer cord straight to talking about life and the universe and spirit and all this, within a matter of 5 minutes. And I said something like, I'm really, really craving to just slow down and somehow create more while slowing down. And Sarah's like, that's so interesting, because I have a class starting tomorrow called Slow Down to Create More. And I was like, what? Sign me up. So perfect example. You somehow magnetized me right into that course, and I magnetized that course to me. So that was awesome too. So talk about the 30, what happens with this 30 days of meditation. I mean, that is pretty, I want to say hardcore, but it is not hardcore. Tell us about it. Where did that come from in 30 days, and what's possible with that?
Yeah. So, I created it. This is going to be my 7th year of doing it. And why I created it was because so many of the, my clients that I was working with just, they wanted to make a lot of traction in their lives, but even just doing a once a week session, it was like, no, we need something that can really, really get you deeper quicker. Mm-hmm. And so I created the 30 days because I figured if I can get someone to commit to sitting down, running energy, shifting your energy with me for 1 hour a day for 30 days, I can pretty much guarantee it's going to shift every aspect of your life. And really, and I don't say that in jest, because it's not me doing the work. Mm-hmm. It's everybody, you're working on yourself. And by you committing to really dropping in with yourself and sitting there and really deeply exploring different avenues and being guided to different parts of yourself that you don't normally in your day-to-day life, magic does start to happen. Light starts to turn on. And when you close your eyes, it's not dark. You close your eyes and it's the most luminous experience you could have, and it's very transformative. It's very transformative for me, guiding, and it's very transformative for the participants that do it. I mean, it's just, and, I could say that it is special because it's my program. And, I have a specific way that I work with energy. But honestly, if anyone were to sit down and really be guided into the depths of their soul for an hour a day, mm-hmm. your life would be transformed, whether you like it or not,
Yeah. Well, and what I love about it is that it's a whole bunch of people doing it together. So, mm-hmm. all at the same time, or at least in the same time frame. If you don't, if you listen to the recording and you do it at a different time of day, but it's there's this month-long container where everybody who's involved is doing that together. And that feels like that just amplifies the power of the meditation and just like really getting that to pop and the shifts. Yeah,
absolutely. And that to me is so much where I spend my time. I really, really focus on the container.
Yeah.
And holding a really strong container for everybody to land in for those 30 days, so that what wasn't possible on your own can just naturally open or transform with ease in the container. And it's really true, because this is very specifically one of the reasons why I created the 30 days, because I wanted a large group of people. And there's always been between about 50 and 80 people in the 30 days. And having a large group to sit and meditate with, the grace that flows through the group is it's very palpable. And people have told me again and again and again that they feel like they're just, for the other 23 hours of their day, they feel like they're just being held. And it's a very unique experience. It's a very powerful experience to be held in that kind of container.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the month of January, right?
Yeah.
Which is perfect. It's like starting the year off just with like going deep and changing your life. Like you said, every aspect of your life will change. So we can all do, it takes discipline. Like it is a commitment, but it's like we can do anything for 30 days. And if all you have to do is commit to a meditation every day, and that you're going to experience major shifts and transformation, like why not? It's so powerful. And I have to say, I love your meditations, and my husband loves your meditations. And what he articulated was, he's like, I just love how Sarah's so real. It's not just like, she's just real, because there is the grit too. And there's, you speak to that. It's not just all like la la land. It's like, there's a few F-bombs being dropped once in a while, and I appreciate that in meditation.
Yeah, I definitely am. I'm just trying to be as human as I can, because I feel like that's so much where we all need to work. The more human we can get and the more real we can get, the more we can be here and really kind of transform the planet, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Yeah. Well, okay, so we're going to make sure that we have a link in our article here so that the heroines who are tuning in can join the 30-day meditation. I think all of us business heroines should join this. Really, there's layers to it, because it's for us. It's for that, experiencing more peace and peace of mind. It's for our growth and our transformation. Like you said, Sarah, it's like there's the healing layer, but then there's the, bringing it out into the world and like experiencing big shifts and your power.
Yeah.
But what's even beyond that is that when we all claim that, when we all own who we are really, and really own that power, that does transform the world, which is what you just said. But it's like the more of us that will be willing to do that, and willing to sit our butts down for an hour every day for 30 days and just commit to it, it's like the more power to the whole planet. It's like a gift that we can give the planet. So anyways.
Yeah. I can't. And that's kind of my focus for this year, honestly, for 2016, is to really, by all of us choosing to drop in and transform personally, to create a collective wave of change for the planet, because, it's intense these days living on this planet.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important for all of us to do what we can to take our lives to the next level, for all of us, if we've been meditating for our whole lives, or if we've never meditated a day, it's time for all of us to take a step and really go a little bit deeper, go a little bit further, go beyond our threshold of our current experience, and see what else is there for us to experience. And collectively we'll be, to shift the vibration on the planet.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Well, so I hope that all of us join that. And I would just love to ask you, Sarah, kind of in closing, besides meditation or maybe a deeper level of what we're talking about here, do you have any just insights or advice for the business heroines out there who are tuning in and who are really stepping into their calling, stepping into who they are and creating a business that is, really designed to make a positive change in the world with their unique gifts and passions and journeys? Any words of insight from your own path or from your learnings?
Mm-hmm. To really just, I know it's kind of cliche, but keep going, because when you start, there seems like there's this huge hill of negative thoughts about ourselves. Like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And if we can keep going in spite of ourselves, in spite of our own thoughts, in spite of our own beliefs, honestly, we'll start to gain traction. You'll start to eventually gain traction, and it will get easier. And it gets a lot easier if you can change your thoughts, for sure. But to really keep going, because the world desperately needs the gifts you have to give. Yeah. And we're up against, to me, we're at a threshold collectively on the planet where it's like, okay, it's time for all of us to step up and give a little bit more of who we are. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So be courageous, be brave, and do it in spite of yourself.
Yeah, I love that. It's so wise. And, tools like the meditation are perfect for that, to help through those thoughts that can just be seriously like banging around on the inside of our skull, like beating us up. It's like, okay, let's let those chill a little bit and let some magic unfold, and one step at a time, but continuing on the path. Perfect. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. I always love it, when my magical friends get to be introduced to the Business Heroine community, so I don't feel like a hoarder of magical people. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Anne. It's so nice to be here.
Yeah. And thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will talk to you next time.
You have been listening to Business Heroine Radio for the entrepreneur who says she will and does. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out what's new at businessheroinemagazine.com today.